The fear of quitting alcohol is the biggest opportunity of a lifetime. Often we think that life without alcohol will be a struggle. But let me tell you something. That is a fallacy. And it's this fear that creates this fallacy. And this fear is the very reason why you can't start a live a new amazing life. And in this video, I will teach you how you can turn the fear of quitting alcohol the biggest opportunity of your lifetime. So first, I want to tell you about my own story with the fear of quitting alcohol. So my story started in 2020 when I got 2 episodes of pancreatitis. And for those who don't know what is pancreatitis, it's basically inflammation in your pancreas, and it comes when you drink maybe too much alcohol. And it was summertime in 2020 when I got my first pancreatitis, and it started with very heavy stomach pain. First, I was my first 2 days at home, and after those 2 days, I went to the hospital. And when I was going into the hospital, I have a feeling that this is God's way to tell me that I have to stop drinking. I didn't yet know that I have pancreatitis, but I have a very strong feeling that now it's time to stop drinking alcohol. And then we take some tests in the hospital, and then I found out that I have pancreatitis. And then the doctors told me that I have to stay in the hospital, and I also get to know that I have to stop drinking permanently. Because if you get pancreatitis and you keep drinking, then it will come again and again, and then in some point it will become chronic, and you can even die from it if you get it too many times. So that was really a shock for me. Now I had to quit alcohol. I have been drinking like 7 years, taking drugs, taking benzodiazepines with alcohol almost every day. And now I had to stop everything. And at the time I was full of fear, full of doubt, maybe even a little bit sad. I didn't really know what to do. How I can live life without alcohol, and how I can be happy without alcohol, how I can deal with stress without alcohol. Those was the questions that I asked. So I was 5 nights in the hospital, and then I quit alcohol, but I still took drugs. So in the next autumn, I had 1 month where I drink, and then I got my second pancreatitis. And I really thought that I didn't give my all. I didn't take things seriously. And then I started to take things more seriously. I don't only tried to change my behavior, but I started to change myself and my lifestyle. And since then, I haven't been drinking a single drop of alcohol. And I was again full of fear and doubt, and maybe a little bit sad, because I already failed once, and now I have to make it through. And like after 6 months being sober, I really started to feel really good. Like all these emotions start to come, and my emotional life basically skyrocketed. And I remember that very clearly, it was some kind of milestone that I reached after those 6 months without alcohol. And I started to enjoy my life without alcohol. And after these 6 months, it really gave me a new spark of motivation to live life. And I started to conquer my other addictions, like I stopped my 12-year cigarette addiction after a year being sober. Then I stopped my corn addiction, and then I also quit my sugar and junk food addiction. And I started to study things and started to my side hustle. I started to exercise daily. I started to eat healthy. I basically started to improve my life in all areas. And that's the power of going through the fear of quitting alcohol. It's not the struggle that will come after quitting alcohol. Maybe in the beginning there will be some, withdrawals and things like that. But life without alcohol is not going to be a struggle, but it's the opposite. And it's the lesson of this story that the fear of quitting alcohol is a fallacy. And usually when we have a lot of limiting beliefs about sobriety, that what it is going to be, then we produce a lot of fear. But like you see in my own story, the fear of quitting alcohol or quitting alcohol is gateway to start a new amazing life. It's so amazing when you get this new spark of motivation after you quit alcohol, and life feels so different, and you start to, and you have this enormous drive to do things. And that sometimes, that really holds us back is this fear towards things. And it's not just the fear of quitting alcohol, but fear in all areas of life. It's the fear that really makes us to miss many things. And understanding that we don't really fear quitting alcohol, but we fear the emotions that quitting alcohol will produce. We kind of fear the fear. We have the fear of fear. I hope that it doesn't sound too complex, but it basically means that it's about facing reality as it is. When we have too many scenarios in our minds what sobriety will be, then quitting alcohol will be a way harder process. And the thing what I'm trying to say is that don't experience reality in your mind, but experience a reality in your life, in the present. Because when we are in our minds, it will be always way harder to handle. And then understanding fear as an emotion. Fear is normal part of this human experience. It's very normal emotion, and even it's negative emotion, but it's still normal. And maybe it's not the fear that is the problem, but it's the resistance that we have towards fear that is the problem. Because the resistance hurts way more than the emotion itself. So it's about learning to face your emotion as it is. Learning to sit with your emotion, and then the process of quitting alcohol will be way harder. When you just can accept that there will be maybe some fear, maybe some discomfort, and just being okay with that, then there will be no resistance, and it will be way easier to quit alcohol when you can just accept that there will be some discomfort. Because I think in what new you try to do, there will be some discomfort. I think it's very delusional to think that you can be comfortable in change. You know, there has to be some discomfort. When you accept that, the process will be way more harmonious. The conclusion of this video is that the fear of quitting alcohol is the gateway to start to live a new, amazing life. And when you go through the fear of quitting alcohol, it starts the process of transmuting fear into something really amazing. And remember, you don't fear quitting alcohol, but you fear the emotions that it will produce in your life. So feel the fear in the real life and not in your mind. And lastly, feel the fear and do it in a way. So thank you for watching this video, and bye bye.